Hariom everyone, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. We'll start with the chanting, the Shanti part. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganpati Gam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannutibi Siddh Sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganpataye Namaha. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. We have finished the first part, the first Valli. So Pratham Adhyaya, Pratham Valli. We are into the second part of this first chapter with Pratham Adhyaya, Dvitiya Valli. So we had covered up till the 15th verse. So let's continue from there. So in the story so far, it's a story about Nachiketas, a young boy who is watching his father perform a yajna. And this yajna, he sees his father being deficient in the gifts that he's supposed to be giving, because he's supposed to be giving everything that he owns or everything that he has earned in the particular year. So that gift, when he saw deficient and pointed it out, his father was a bit upset and he said something that he shouldn't have. And because of that, Nachiketas had to travel to Yamlok, to Yamraj, so the Lord of Death. And there, when he reached, the Yamaraja was not there. So Nachiketas had to wait for 3 days. And when he finally arrived, then in order to compensate for that waiting, he gave him 3 boons, of which the first was about getting into the good grace of his father and going back to his family. The second was about helping his clan grow by learning about the yajna paddhati, how to do the homa. And then finally, the third one is about Atmagyanam. So this one, Yamaraja was not conceding it to him easily. Slowly, he finally accepted and relented. So now the teaching has started. So we saw the first part where here, Nachiketas had to remind the teacher that please start with the teaching, because you have glorified me, all that is fine, but the main teaching has to be started now. So he had, in the 14th verse itself, asked that what is that Atma which is Anyatra Dharmat, beyond good and evil, beyond the process of action and inaction, beyond, you can say, the process of creation and non-creation, and beyond all the periods of time. Anyatra bhutat anyatra bhavyacha yat pashyasi tadbadal. So how you see it, how you visualize that Atma, please tell me about it, because now I am really curious about it. And so he has given the first answer, which is an indicatory answer, indicated kind of answer. So in this answer, Yamaraja just points to the symbol of that Atmagyanam, symbol of Atma, or symbol of the highest reality, Brahman, which is called here as Om. So Tatte Padam Sangrahen Bravimi Om iti etat. That is Om. So here we saw earlier also what this Om is. This Om represents the vibrations of the universe, all the vibrations which bring the created universe into being, right? So Om starts with the silence. The silence is the point, is the unmanifest part, you can say, Nirguna Brahman, or the one without any kind of deep waves or thoughts or any kind of conceptualization. But from that arise all the sounds. So just like from that one infinite, all the finites will arise. This is a key part of the logic of understanding the world and its as a manifestation of that unmodified, unmodifiable Brahman, right? That when there is something that is infinite, it cannot be infinite unless it has all finites also with present within it in an unmanifest form. That is the nature of that. So the infinite part is is indicated by this Om with the Nad Bindu, the Chandra Bindu we see at the end, which then merges into the silence. And that before that, there are three parts of Om. We saw A, U, and Ma. They represent the whole manifest universe. A represents Aksharam, all the letters of the, you can say the alphabet, which are, we say Akshar means something that cannot be split any further. Aksharaha. So Akshara, it cannot be split any further. So since Akshara is unsplittable, that actually represents the unified nature of Brahman. And for that to become, for that infinite to manifest the finite, it has to take on what we call a matra. Matra is something, it is said in other Upanishads, matra yad balam, something that gives energy to any object, right? So matra is something which gives you the vibration. So a is something that will impart vibration to all the words or letters. So everything that is there in the universe, it is said to be composed of words or vibrations. So when this sound, it imparts any vibration to it, it creates the whole what we call Vishwa, the Jagrit Jagat, the waking universe. The waking universe is manifested by imparting vibration to each and every one of the different elements that are available to it in the unmanifest state. All of them according to the law of nature, which you call rhythm. According to that rhythm, all those objects are manifest one by one. So when this manifestation comes about, first part is the creation part, which we can assign it to one of the deities in the Trinity that we know now. But it was not needed in the time of the Vedas and Upanishads. But yes, that is Vishnu, that is Brahmaji, the creator. So, also represented by Brahmaji, the creating aspect, the aspect in which something becomes manifest out of the unmanifest. Earlier, it was there. It's not that it was not there, but bringing them together into a certain combination to produce each and every one of the vast objects of the universe is the work of Om, is the job of Om or Brahmaji. And then further, to rise above Utkarshat Api, the O sound. So that is the sound which takes hold of things, maintains everything, right? So just the creation is being done, it does not mean its job is done. So next step, relay race, baton is handed over to Vishnuji. So the Vishnuji takes care of maintaining the universe, maintaining the order of the universe. That is why dharma. Dharma is, Brahman is beyond dharma and adharma, we saw in the 14th verse. But in the case of Ishvara, he is the upholder of dharma, the law of nature. Otherwise, what will happen? If the dharma is removed out of the universe will collapse, right? So in the Gita also, he says that whenever dharma is uh, destroyed or in a state of disarray, I come and take the form of a human being here and take a avatar. Sambhavami yuge yuge. In every yuga, I come and take birth. That is the concept of avatara we have in our scriptures. So this Vishnuji, when he takes over the universe, he ensures that uh, the disorder creating elements are kept in check, right? So that is represented by the U sound of Om. And then finally Ma, because everything has a shelf life, and whenever something has been used to the fullest, then it must be cleansed, right? Whenever we ingest any food, हम जो भी खाते हैं, हम जो भी अंदर लेके जाते हैं. So after imparting the nourishment, after imparting the energy, it has to be flushed out of the system. So similarly, just like Yamaraja does the job of taking away the souls, the overall job of merging back the creation into its into the nascent state, that belongs to Ma. Ma is Layam. So ma represents the dissolution which you can assign, which is assigned to the next baton is carried to Shiva, Shivji. Total dissolution. Yeah. So when the dissolution is, we call it pralay. So pralay is different kinds. There is a nitya pralay, which happens daily when we go to sleep, right? Or daily or minute by minute, every things are being destroyed and created. So that is then there is the what we call anekantik pralay. Depends on the nature. So a human being has an age of 60, 70, 80, 100 years. So at that time, that person will be will die, or any other objects like a mountain. So after some time, it will also merge back into the elements. So all these are the process of dissolution, and the final pralaya in which everything merges. That is the that is the pralaya, the pralaya in which everything merges back into its nascent form. Even the souls, even the jivas, they are merged into that state of total what we call ignorance, where nothing can be separated. There is no separation, right? The separation will come when? In the next manifestation. So this Om is the holder of these. So what is the specialty of this Om? That we look into this next one. And I will chant these two verses together because they're connected, and then we'll see the meanings together. So, Etad Devaksharam Brahma, Etad Devaksharam Param, Etad Devaksharam Gyatva, Yo Yat Ichhati Tasya Tat, Etad Devaksharam Brahma, Etad Devaksharam Param, एतद्धेवाक्षरं ज्ञात्वा यो यद इच्छति तस्य तत्. Anita, you were saying something?
Sir, what does Chandra Bindu represent?
Chandra Bindu in Om.
Yes, sir.
That represents the silence between two chantings of Om, where the vibration finally is merging back into the unmanifest. So that represents Nag Bindu, we call it, or the state of what we call the unmanifest sound. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Anhad Nath. Anhad Nath. That is so that is represented by Chandra Bindu. So
The Nada Bindu, sir, that is also unmanifest and undifferentiated.
Ma is layam. So something that is manifest going back in the process of being in dissolution. Then finally, when the dissolution happens, then that is the Nad Bindu. Right? So no separation exists. So etad devaksharam gyatva yo yadichati tasya tat. And next one. Etad alambanam shreshtam. Etad alambanam param. एतदालम्बनं ज्ञात्वा ब्रह्मलोके महीयते. एतदालम्बनं श्रेष्ठम् एतदालम्बनं परम् एतदालम्बनं ज्ञात्वा ब्रह्मलोके महीयते. So here, so far now, Yamaraja has given him the very shortest. He said, Sangrahena Bravimi. In very, very short, I'm telling you the answer of what is Atma, that is Om. So he's given a very indicative answer. So Om is an indicator of the Brahman. So it is a very secret mantra, yet it is known to all. But the importance exists to the person who has understood it fully. Right? So there was a story in the Upanishads, or it was expressed, shown in one of the serials, Upanishad Ganga also. Very nice story. So a student comes to the teacher and he says, you give me some mantra, give me a secret mantra that will help me, rise above in my sadhana. So he called him aside and he whispered in his ear, the mantra is Om. So the students started chanting, and then he thought, I'll go. I'll go out and see. So he was watching some people, they were carrying a dead body and they were saying, Om Ram Nam Satya, Om Ram. And they were, so he says, these people also know Om. Then he saw a Panwala, he went there and he said he was also doing some puja over there in his shop, and he was saying Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo, like that. And so on. He met so many people I won't go into the full detail of the story, and all of them were chanting Om or talking about Om. So he then went back to the Guru and he said, "What mantra you have given me? You said it is secret. I don't, I don't even know any person. No, everyone knows it. There's no one around who I met who didn't know about Om." He even stopped to ask a few people, have you heard of Om?" Yes, they all heard of Om. So then his teacher said, "Okay, I'll do one thing. I'm giving you a stone." Hmm. It was shaped like a crystal, and he said, go to the market and see the value of it. Don't sell it. Don't sell it. Just see that what you can get in exchange for it. So he went to the first to the vegetable vendor who was selling potatoes, and he said, "I have this beautiful stone. What can you give me in exchange for it?" So he saw, he said, "It's a very pretty big stone." He said, "Okay, I can give you one full big sack of potatoes." Said, "Okay." So he said, shall you give it to me?" He said, "No, no, no, no. I just want to know its value." And then he went to another shop, which sold some merchandise for home products, some home products. So when he showed them, that person was able to recognize, yeah, yes, this looks like to be some valuable stone. And he offered something of higher value, and so on and so forth. And finally, when he reached the jeweler, so this jeweler, when he saw this, and he asked, "Where have you got this?" So he was surprised. He said, so this student said, "No, it's given to be by a guru." And he said, "Okay, are you looking to sell it?" He said, "I want to know its value first." So he said, "This is beyond my value. This is beyond what I can pay for. This is so valuable. It's a huge diamond. It just needs to be cut to the right size." So in this way, finally, when he came back to his guru, then his guru said, "That is what. The one who knows the value of this diamond, the one who knows the value of this Om, for him only this is beneficial." So for someone who has done Om sadhana, no, that Om will start appearing at all kinds of places. You will be surprised. And someone who has chanted this inwardly, he will not just need to chant later on. It will manifest from inside Om. It will manifest from inside, and the chanting will go on in the actual sense of what we call the Anhadnad, where you will be able to hear it. So when this happens to such people, those who tell about it, that this occurs, so they tell that the benefits of this is what? This Om Sadhana. Then all, I'll just share onto the screen first. So first, he says, "What is this? This who knows this aksharam etat eva he aksharam Brahma. This is this indivisible aksharam Brahma. This Om is etad ev aksharam param. It is the highest. Nothing goes beyond it. Etad ev aksharam gyatva. Whoever knows this, yo yat ichhati tasya tat. Whatever one desires is available for him, because everything is a product of vibration. Everything is produced out of vibration. So one who knows to focus his mind inward, then whatever vibrations he focuses on, slowly his own vibrations become so powerful that anything he decides to acquire or wish for, he manifests very quickly. Right? So that is the power of that. We call that person Satyakam. So he is very quickly able to manifest. So that person is the one who has perfected what we call the part of Om. So whatever material desires that person wishes for, that they come to him. Right. And then further on, someone who does this Om sadhana, he is supposed to give up all kinds of thoughts, can give all kind of desires, all kinds of trapments of objects. So when he does that, then his mental state reaches higher and grasps a very higher goal. So initially, when that person is meditating, he will be able to see so many things internally that normal people cannot see. Worlds will open up to him. No, the Saptalokas, all the seven lokas will open to him. So we experience only one loka generally, right? That loka is this Bhuloka. The Bhuloka is the lowest one we experience. And then, but the higher lokas, when we focus inward, we can see our prana shakti moving. So that is the Antarish loka, but not my own prana shakti. Magic of prana shakti is not connecting to my own prana shakti. It is connecting to the prana shakti of the people around us. Such a person, what happens? He becomes a healer. He's able to move that pran shakti. He can help people heal faster. Because he has tapped onto that higher potential. So that is the tapping into the power of Om through the next higher lokas. One by one, that person can move on to the then Bhu Bhuva Swaha. So Swarg Loka, the loka of the mind, where all thoughts are available to him. So his creativity increases. That person's creativity, the ability to manifest things, that goes in a very higher level, right? And then finally Mahaloka, his ability to build, visualize anything, the blueprint. So Mahat is Mahat Buddhi. So Buddhi is the intermediate loka, the one between the top three and the bottom three. So once that is perfected, then anything he decides to build, construct, imagine, visualize, that visualization becomes very powerful, and he's able to create also. So is it possible to exploit this healing Shakti to one's advantage? No, you see, whenever you are doing a sadhana, then how is the sadhana perfected? The sadhana is perfected by your surrender to the higher nature, by your moving in sync with nature, right? So when you are moving in sync with nature, then oneself, you don't exist. You exist as a part of the universe, and then no one is separate from you. So unless the Shakti is used as a general benefit for all, I'm not saying initially, for short time it will help. But then it will go away also, as it happens to the Rakshasas, right? So ultimately their Shakti becomes their own downfall. So when a person goes inwards and uses this power, the higher lokas are conquered. So the Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, Mahaloka, all are similarly conquered. So when he conquers Jana Loka, then he is able to visualize ananda, the joy in everything, right? And nothing will give him anxiety, pain, and so on. Whatever he sees in the world, he is able to see the infinite aspect of behind every object. And then Tapasloka, his consciousness is very wide. So his consciousness stops to see this limited, divided consciousness that we generally think of ourselves. I see myself as this consciousness functioning through this body. So I am this body. These limitations move away, and so on into the final Sat Loka. So nothing in when you perfect Sat Loka, then you cease to have any kind of discrimination with other people. Samatvam, Samabhav. Everyone becomes part of you, extended. Your body is the body of the whole universe, or you can say the body of the whole universe is you. Nothing remains different. So that is Etad Devaksharam Brahmam, Etad Devaksharam Param. You reach that stage when you connect to that highest power. Right, and in this way, and not just the higher and lower lokas, but also the lateral lokas. You can see all the dweep, all the Saptadweep, Gagan Bhumandal, all you can see. You can see this Jambu Dweep, you can see Palash Dweep, all of them internally you can visualize, you can see their riches, you can connect to them, and even carry them to this loka with time, with effort, with karma. So that is the beauty of this. But till this far, the verbal explanation is not been given. Ki what is this Atma? That will come later. Here is it is just the internal explanation where the symbol has been pointed out. So what is the speciality of the symbol? It is said Naam or Nami mein koi bhed nahi hai. The name and the holder of the name is not different, right? So if this is Monica and the body of Monica, and they're not different. The name and the person are not different. Or if there be any object also, same way. So Naam and Nami. So similarly, there is no difference between that highest reality Brahma and Om. They are one and the same only. The separation is in our mental concept only, a mental concept of separating things from each other. So whoever connects to, understands to, or realizes this akshar, who is able to focus into it, do sadhana onto it. That there are different sadhanas for Om, detailed ones given in different shastras. So all of these once does, And that involves not just doing something internally. It implies applying it to outside. No, that person will be loving to every being. You can see the smile of that person. You can see the love and care of the person. You can see how that person is feels the pain of others, and not just feels, but also helps the alleviate the pain of others. That is the speciality of this person who has perfected this Om. Right? Uh, So, etad alambanam shreshtam. So, this is an alambanam. Huh? This is support for us, right? So, we in our life, what kind of support we take? We take the support of material objects. So, Swami Paramarthanand ji used to say, it's like sitting on a cardboard chair. It's bound to collapse. So, the moment you sit, that is the kind of alambanam we take up. But this alambanam, what is it? Etad alambanam shreshtam. This is the highest, the best, the most useful, right? So when we hold on to that higher reality, that is a support that will never fail us. Right? That will never be able to bring any harm to us. So whoever holds on to this higher reality through the symbol, through this Om, then he reaches the highest lokas, etad alambanam param. He is able to visualize, realize, or bring into action his highest nature. And etad alambanam gyatva brahmaloke mahite. So whoever knows this, who truly understands this, or through this alambanam understands the nature of his atma, then brahmaloke mahiyate. He is able to uh, manifest, control, or even merge himself into this brahmaloke, or the highest reality, right? Brahman, the highest reality. When you understand the nature, then you are able to bring yourself into sync with that reality. You see yourself as non-separate from that. So this Omkar Brahma or Par Brahma, this is the same as Om. So Om we have seen so far. Om, when we bring into our lives through sadhana, we can do through meditation, then we can realize it in our lives. But just realization is not easy unless we have a full understanding of the concept or the theory of what is this Atma. Huh? What is this Atma? So this is a very famous mantra. It's also in slight variation in the Gita. So let's chant this first. न जायते म्रियते वा विपश्चिन् नायं कुतश्चिन् बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे न जायते म्रियते वा विपश्चित् नायं कुतश्चिन् बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. How is it in the Gita? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So the last two lines are the same, and there is a slight variation to the end of the first line. So but in essence, it's the same because Gita has taken the essence of the Upanishads. So in fact, this is the 20th shlok, 20th shlok in the Gita, second chapter. So second chapter 20th and 18th, 19th, 20, 21, they all convey the similar thought in a sequence, you can say. If you want to have a look at it, I can just quickly search it up. Gita. Okay. If some of you carry it with you or keep it with you, then you can look it up. Okay. It starts from the 17th, in fact, Avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. And then antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. And then य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. And then न जायते म्रियते वा. Right? So here the slight difference. नाय कदाचित नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः. And the rest is the same. And then the वेद विनाशिनम नित्यम य एनम अजमव्ययम कथम स पुरुष पार्थ कम घातयति हंतिकम. And ending in the very famous Gita shlok, just like you body discards, just like you discard the new clothes, old clothes and wear new ones. Similarly, this body also, this Atma also discards different bodies and takes on a new one. Vasansi जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णा अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहे. So in this way, in the Gita, the whole thought process is expressed on what is this Atma. This Atma is someone which is avinashi, indestructible, and which is the source of everything. Yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasham avyayasya. You cannot split it into parts in any form whatsoever. And then antavantam imedeha. This undying and uncomparable, timeless reality, the Jivatma, is the one that is beyond time, and the bodies are all dying. So bodies are changing. So that is the difference. So here he says to Arjuna, you continue your yuddha. So that we know when the story. So and then no one should think that this Atma can ever die. Ya enam veti hantaram. So this we'll see in Katho also in the next mantra. So let's get back to the text. So when we are looking at Kathopnishad, the unique word here is vipaschit. So here at the end of the first line, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. So vipaschit stands for this Atma only. If we take the meaning first, so na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. This Atma, this soul, this special thing to be known, vipaschit, is never dying, and never is it born. And nayam kutaschit na babhuv kaschit. Never does it not exist. Never does it come into existence. Ajo nityam. It is always ever new, ever eternal, never beyond, never in the limitations of time. Shashvata. So it is shashvato. It is never going to decay or end. Shashvato yam purana. Purana. Pura api. So it is there from times immemorial. And na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This body, this Atma does not die when the body dies. Right? So in this, the basic concept of this Atma as the consciousness is explored in detail. Right? So here all the what we call shadvikar, the six defects of the body that are there, here they are denied over here. So all the six defects and the nature of this consciousness, this is also explored over here. So when we are looking at the shadvikara, so shadvikara represents asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinimate, pakshiyate, and vinashyati. So what are the Shadvikara? They represent the different stages a body or a human body goes through. So when Asti means the moment of conception, Jayate finally when it's born, Vardhate grows, Viparinamate starts changing, and then Apakshiyate starts to decay, and then Vinashyati finally it dies. So in this way, these are the six defects. So here, what is being said here, that these defects are not there. Na jayate. So this Atma is not born. Na mriyate. The first and last are denied here. And nayam kutaschit babhu kaschit. It is never coming into existence. So nitya shashvato yam purana. So all of these represent all the six shadvikar they are not a part of the process of atma. They are not a part of atma, right? So first three, the previous three mantras, they are what you can call the preparatory steps for the normal students, a normal upasaka who will be given this sadhana internally, and then at one time. It will dawn on him also, this knowledge, though internally or through externally, whatever be his prarabdha. So this is the beginning of the teaching of this Atma Jnana. So here now, in this, the final, we are getting into the actual, what we call the philosophical concept. So what is this? So consciousness now we are looking at. So what is this consciousness? How is it said? Na jayate na mriyate. So we can put it into, you can simply put into five categories, or you can put into five uh, s- uh, concepts, right? So what are these five concepts? First is this: consciousness is not a part or property or a product of the body, right? Consciousness, you may write it down, very important. I've done it in Tattva Bodha. So consciousness is not a part, product, or property of the body, right? So how? Because consciousness is, why is it not a part of the body? If it is a part of the body, then it will exist in some place while it will not be at the other place, right? So that means it is not a part of the body. So and we can take for this an example of the electricity that is flowing through the different wires. So it is manifesting differently through the different uh, instruments that it is passing through, right? So so even though electricity is not exactly consciousness, but it is the next subtle thing, you can say, to consciousness, which is Shakti, energy, right? So this energy, what is the speciality of this? You cannot see this energy. You cannot see this energy, but it is available for you for perception by the effect that it's giving, right? So when it passes through the bulb, it will give light. When it passes through the heater, it will give heat. When it passes through the fan, it will give you air. So in this way, this electricity also is not a part of this fan, right, or part of the light. It is, and it is not even a property of of this fan. So similarly, this consciousness is also not a property of the body. Why is not it a property? Because of the logic, simple logic, that if something is a property of another thing, it will never separate. जो भी गुण है जिसका, उससे अलग नहीं हो सकता. It can never be separated from it. So if a something, if sugar is sweet, then the sweetness is a property guna of that. So you cannot have a non-sweet sugar, otherwise it will be something else. So same thing in any way of you, any property you look at any object. So uh, if it were a property, then what would happen? This body would never die, right? Never would consciousness be separable. That means it is what it is. It is a separate entity. It is a separate entity that pervades and enlivens the body, right? That is the second rule. So consciousness is not a part, product, or property. It's not also a product, right? If something were a product, then that product will ultimately decay, right? So the product will also be separate from this. And so if it is separate, then obviously you cannot say that it's a part of the body. So in this way, consciousness is not a part, product of or property of the body. Just like this electricity also is not a product of the fan, right? It is not born out of some motion of the fan. The motion will have to come from outside, or it will provide the motion. So it is the giver of the energy or the power. The power or energy does not arise due to this is what we call the jada vastu, the non-living objects. So of these non-living objects, the consciousness, we say it is not a part, product, or property of the body. And then the second logic we saw is it is an independent entity which pervades and enlivens the body, right? So what other derivation we can make from this? That means this consciousness is not what we call what understand as an adjective, but it is a noun. How? Here it is written, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. This consciousness, as a separate object, it is being described as a separate, as something separate from all the objects of the universe. So, what vipaschit also means visheshena pashyati. It means the ability to see beyond what normal people can see. So that is the speciality of this consciousness. It can see beyond what the mind and the sense organs can see. So then what does it mean? It is being presented as a noun, right? What is the difference between a noun and an adjective? Like we can say a tall person, a short person, right? So in that case, that becomes that tallness and shortness become adjectives, right? And they are dependent on the object, right? But consciousness is not dependent on the objects. That is why consciousness is, we say, I am a conscious being, right? No, but the sentence is wrong. The sentence itself is wrong. I am not a conscious being. I am consciousness pervading through this being. So this is the actual sentence, right? But we mistakenly use it, just like in any sentence. We say, for existence, we are taking the example. This is a tree. So this is a tree is we use as an adjective of the tree. But actually what is that is? The is the existence principle. So this existence is not a adjective actually. Actually it's a noun. So that same way we have to understand this consciousness is a separate existence from which everything has come out and which is capable of existing independently. So na na jayate mriyate va. So one die, and it is also nayam kutaschin babhuva. It is never born out of something, right? So in this way, this consciousness is a independent entity which pervades and enlivens the body. Then third part, it is not bound by the limitations of the body. Can you confine consciousness to a box? You cannot. Why? Because can you even visualize a shape for this consciousness? There is no shape that you can visualize. Just like you have a shape for the body or anything solid, you have a shape for thoughts also. A thought can define something in a certain size or position, right? That is the limitation of that thought. That limitation does not belong to consciousness. That limitation is not part of this consciousness. So consciousness is not at all bound by the limitations of the body. So uh, what does the simple meaning that come out of if something doesn't have shape? If does something doesn't have shape, that means there is no boundary. If there is no boundary, then it is infinite, present everywhere, all over. There is no place where this consciousness is not, right? So when we try to simply understand the nature of this consciousness, we will slowly understand how it is infinite, how it is not divided into parts, how that is how it is nitya. So consciousness, it does the fourth property is what? The consciousness will not die when the body perishes. It does not die with the body. So the body will come and go, right? But the consciousness is not dying. The consciousness is there. Only their mind is not available to reflect that consciousness, so that thereby the consciousness is not what we call perceived. The perceiver is gone, or the reflecting object is gone. So what is the final condition we can draw from it? The final rule or law. The final rule or law is the surviving consciousness is not recognized because the medium for its manifestation is not there. The body reflects that, because of that, the medium is there. So we have what we call, first of all, the uh, unmodified consciousness. We can call it avyakt chaitanya, avyakt chaitanya, or we can also say sadharan chaitanya, the or samanya chaitanya, the general consciousness. That is the consciousness that is infinite, present everywhere, nitya. But there is another consciousness. What is that? That is what we call the vyakt chaitanya, or the vishesh chaitanya. The vishesh chaitanya is the consciousness that is reflected by the mind. So to understand this, we can take a point here. There is a very beautiful text by Swami Vidyaranya, Panchadashi. So we have seen a bit of it in our classes. So Panchadashi, there he gives a very beautiful example that there is sunlight pervading a room. In general, we cannot see that sunlight, or we cannot cognize it, right? But it is there. It is there all the time. But when we use a mirror, we can focus that same consciousness to a small spot on the wall. So there, that Vishesh Chaitanyam ki jagah, with in place of Vishesh Chaitanyam, that Vishesh sunlight is cognized. But that does not mean that the Vishesh Chaitanyam or the Vishesh Chaitanya is the only existing entity there. The Samanya Chaitanyam is also there at the same time. Not so we think of our consciousness as the one functioning through the body because the mind is reflecting it, right? So now this consciousness we have seen this through these five properties, not five rules or laws. We can say consciousness is not a part, product, or property of the body. Secondly, consciousness is an independent entity which pervades and enlivens the body. And then consciousness is not bound by the limitations of the body. No special limitations. And then, fourth, consciousness does not die when the body perishes. And then finally, the surviving consciousness is not recognized because the medium of the body is no longer there. So as long the body is not there, or you can say the mind also. So this Vishesh Chaitanyam then disappears, Samanya Chaitanyam remains, right? The general consciousness remains. It will need another body. It is manifesting through all the different bodies still. But for this person who dies, it ceases to manifest. So this is the difference. So we saw it, first we saw is that it is not subject to the six modifications, asti jayate vardate, birthless, deathless, decayless, growthless, no transformation, viparinamate, no decay, and finally it does not finish also. So here what Bhagwan, Lord Yamaraja is saying, he is terming this consciousness as not a property or attribute of the body, but we saw as the vipaschit word, as the real nature of our Atma Swarupa. So therefore it is not subject to modification. He negates all the different modifications. So then we look at it further. So similar idea we saw in the Gita also. Hanta chen manyate hantum, hatas chen manyate hatam, ubhau tau na vijanitah, nayam hanti na hanyate. Again, hanta chen manyate hantum, hatas chen manyate hatam, ubhau tau na vijanitah, nayam hanti na hanyate. So if someone thinks hanta chet manyate hantum, someone thinks that I am the killer of something, I have killed someone, huh? And the second person, hatas chain, the one who has been hurt or killed, hatas chain manyate hatam, someone thinks that I have been killed, and then ubhau tau na vijanitah, then they both don't know the truth. Nayam hanti na hanyate. This atma, this soul, this ultimate reality, this consciousness, it can never die, right? So a lot of people make funny derivations from this. This means I can kill anyone. That means I'm not killing someone. So it's absurd. Why? Because there, what is your mental association? You are thinking of yourself as the body. As so, when you're thinking of yourself as the body, you will suffer the karma phala. So when you are hurting someone's body, that body, the result or the fruit of that action will come back to your body also, or to your mind and your mind and intellect, right? So in this way, it is not, this thing is not applicable to the mind intellect part or the body part. It is not applicable to the three sharirams, the sthul sharir, sukshma sharir, and karan sharir. So this is applicable to the atma. So if someone says that I have killed someone, then I have not killed that person. I have killed the person's body. Yeah? And in fact, this logic is used by Bhagwan in the Bhagavad Gita also. He says that whatever you are person you think you are killing, you are not doing a sankalpa to specially kill them for your benefit. It is something that has been thrust upon you. It is a situation that you have to come out of. So when they are attacking you, you are supposed to attack back. So that is why. So he says there also that neither are you killing someone, and nor are you getting killed, or nor is someone killing you, right? So therefore don't think of this as the work of prarabdha, work of the law of nature, karma. So whatever is happening is according to that So I have predestined. He shows him his Vishwarupam also. So where he shows that I am the actual destroyer of all the things. These were things were supposed to happen. So this is not what we call fatalism, but this is the understanding that when I am realizing in my own nature, when I am into the description of my own, here killing is in the sense of what we call the extreme sense, right? But here, basically, yes, Shilpa ji, you want to say something?
हेलो हेलो
Yes.
योगेश जी, मेरे को
हाँ
एक
जी।
पूछना था।
हाँ
देखिए, आप कह रहे थे कि कृष्ण जी ने बोला कि यू आर नॉट किलिंग, दैट इज व्हाट यू आर सपोज टू डू, है ना?
हम्म।
सो
या जी।
जस्ट दिस इज नाउ इन रामायण कॉन्टेक्स्ट, आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग व्हाट डिफाइंस धर्म। I wanted to know. Example, कुंभकर्ण said कि he knew कि राम जी के साथ लड़ना नहीं चाहिए, वो नारायण खुद हैं, स्वयं है, but he
जी
said
जी
नहीं, मैं अपने बड़े भाई को छोड़ूंगा नहीं। On the
जी जी
other
हाँ।
hand, विभीषण said कि मैं धर्म को छोड़ूंगा नहीं, and he
हम्म
went and fought this thing.
हम्म
Agastya Muni was Ravan's chacha
हम्म
because he was Pulatsya's son.
हम्म
तो तभी भी ही वेंट एंड टोल्ड राम जी के पूरा दिस थिंग आदित्य हृदयम एंड एवरीथिंग,
हम्म।
एंड तो व्हाट इज धर्म, हुज राइट, कुंभकर्ण और विभीषण के, और हाउ डू यू डिफाइन धर्म?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So here we have to understand clearly the concept of sankalpa. Who is doing the sankalpa, right? So in the case of Arjun, the sankalpa was done by what? By Duryodhan. That I want this land, and this sankalpa is wrong, right? His sankalp galat hai. So this sankalpa is wrong. So the person who actually is the owner of this land, or who is the rightful inheritor of this land, he should fight for his right? So that is why, because the wrong sankalpa belongs to Duryodhan, that means Duryodhan is wrong, and therefore Arjuna is supposed to fight. So now let us come to your case. So when we are talking about here Ravan also, so Ravan here, the sankalpa of Ravan is wrong,
इज
right?
रॉन्ग, ओके।
So he is the one who will be getting maximum punishment for this sankalpa. In lot of Puranas, you will see the demon is killed, but he gets moksha. The
हाँ,
reason being what? Because he is following his duty in doing that action, right? Or whatever has been told to him by nature to that you have to do this, right? So in this way, in the case of Ravan and Kumbhakaran, the sankalpa belongs to Ravan because he has thrust upon his family this adharma of fighting, firstly wrongfully kidnapping Sitama, and then secondly also fighting the people who came to protect her. So there, the people who are helping him here, he has to perform. Kumbhakaran has to perform his duty. He has to fight, right? But with the full knowledge, with the knowledge that the Lord is the one whom he is fighting. So he will not get the punishment for that because Sankalpa does not belong to him. He is doing his duty. Huh. So in that sense, the duty, the what we call the karma phalam for the duty will go to the Sankalpa Karta. Just like I'll tell you one more example. When you do a homa, havana, so most of the process is done by the priest, right?
हाँ जी,
Yeah. So when the priest is doing it, but who is he doing for? The Sankalpa is belonging to the Yajamana,
यस
right?
मैम,
So,
करेक्ट,
so the Yajamana will get the fruit. The Pandit
हाँ,
will not get, right?
हाँ,
So good or bad, both ways, whatever who is doing the Sankalpa, he will get the fruit. The one who does it for him, he will not get the fruit, but indirectly he will get punyam for doing the duty,
doing
right?
his,
That is
हाँ,
why Duryodhan also, his brothers
goes
also, they
to
went to heaven.
स्वर्ग, हाँ,
So
करेक्ट,
that is right.
अच्छा, ओके, धन्यवाद।
Welcome. So let's come back to the text now. So we are looking at this. So hanta chain manyate hantum. So when we here basically what is the major main concept here, that Atma is akarta. It is not the doer, right? So the action of kartritvam, doership, or the action of cause and effect, that is being denied here. So Atma is not within the laws of cause and effect. Hanta chen manyate hantum, hatas chen manyate hatam. And it is also not the karta, and it is never the doer. So that is why no karma phalam will attach to a person who thinks of himself as Atma. Someone who thinks of himself as Sharir or as the body, all the karma phalams will go to that person only. Just like Shilpaji said about the sankalpa. Whoever, from which level you are making your sankalpa, that will represent, that will, on that will depend what will be your uh, karma phalam, right? The fruit. So here, so these two features basically Lord Yamaraja is here introducing here of Atma. First is Akarta, that is the Karma Sambandha Rahita, you can say, Karma Sambandha Rahita. And Abhokta, it is also not the enjoyer, Abhokta, Karma Phala Sambandha Rahita. So, Karma Sambandha Rahit and Karma Phala Sambandha Rahit. No, neither a doer of the action nor a reaper of this action. So whatever, what is the basic property of the karta? What the doer? Ever changing. The agent performing an action is always undergoing change, right? So whenever you are doing the action, there is some change happening in your mindset, and whenever you finish the action, then your karta merges back, and a new karta will come. So now I am reading a book. Next I am making some food. So my karta changes from moment to moment, day to day, hour to hour, and so on. So according to wherever my sense of doership, or wherever my sense of association rise. So here we have uh, one of the key points that we have to utilize in understanding Atma. This is called adhyas. Adhyas. Adhyas is what is called how I view myself. How I view myself. Right? Because of what? Because of my close association to something. So what is that close association? I will keep using the Sanskrit words also because you should know them when you bring them up in any text. So what is the Sanskrit word of how I view myself? Upadhi. कैसी उपाधि मैंने ले ली? So when I am functioning through the body, I am this body. When I am functioning through the mind, I am this mind. So because of this adhyasa or this wrong impression, I take up different upadhis, right? So therefore, this Atma takes different upadhis because of the wrong notion of the center through which it is acting. What is the center? For us, it is the body, right? Or for any being, it will be their body. So upadhi can be from two standpoints. This upadhi can be from two standpoints. One is the upadhi of any kind of shape, form, color, etc., like the body. So you can say that uh, I am a man, I am a whatever person you are, right? So in that way. And then the second standpoint of upadhi is the function, activity, जो हम कर्म कर रहे हैं, whatever karma we are doing. So what this upadhi we take up, I am a doctor, I am a sportsman, so in this way. So whatever we are doing, I am a cook. So in this way, we take up these different upadhis. So when this consciousness is functioning through upadhi, we forget. We forget that upadhis are all changing. Upadhis are all changing. They are non-eternal. They are temporary. While the aham, not the small aham, the ego, but the real aham, the big aham, the big I, that is the consciousness, and that persists through all of them. So wherever, whatever activity we are doing, the I will always remain constant. I am cooking, I am eating, I am walking. The I is constant. That I we forget. That is the Atma. That is the Atma. So Hanta, the killer, is just a representative of this action, whatever kind of actions we do. So whatever action we do on anything, we think of ourselves as the doer, whereas there is no action being done by I, the aham, the real identity, but the action is just an adhyasa. It is an adhyasa. Why? Because of my wrongful understanding of myself, because of my taking on an upadhi. So as long as my adhyasa and upadhi are there, जब तक मेरे में ये गलत ज्ञान है कि मैं क्या हूँ, as long as that adhyasa is there, as long as the wrongful knowledge is there of my true nature, then I will keep suffering this world's problems. I will keep suffering hanta chen manyate hantum. I will keep thinking of myself as a victim. I will keep thinking of myself as someone who is controlled by circumstances. It is my choice to think of myself as something beyond this, to not to take on the pain and the uh, hassles of the world. Whatever is happening to this mind and buddhi, mind and intellect and this body. I am beyond this. It is not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but ubhoto na vijanita, who here it clearly says that whoever uh, thinks of himself in this way, ubhautau na vijanita, they don't know the real truth. They don't know the actual reality, because na ayam hanti na hanyate. There is no kind of pain or pressure. So, is upadhi the position? Upadhi is the kind of association I make. And adhyasa, just like I'll give you an example. So, in a very common example in Shastras, you keep a transparent crystal and you keep a red flower next to it, right? So, uh, the red flower reflecting into the crystal is called adhyas, because of the proximity, the and the crystal appearing red. So you are saying this is a red crystal when it's actually not. That is upadhi, right? I hope it is clear. So this upadhi is the wrongful associations we make because of very close proximity to something. So just because in Atmabodh also this example is given, that when you take a very big ball of iron and you heat it, so then it becomes red hot and then it appears like a ball of fire. So there, the ball of fire has taken the property of the iron ball has taken the property of fire, and it is appearing like fire because of close proximity to it. That is the same way our consciousness is functioning through this body, and we start to think that this I am this body, I am not the consciousness, because my vision doesn't go that way. I don't pay attention to where this is coming, right? So here, basically, we have seen so far that Yamaraja is denying the kartritvam and bhoktritvam of Atma. So therefore, if there is no kartritvam, what will be the first thing that will happen? It is free from any kind of karma phalam. So all my sanchit karma phalam, all my agami karma phalam, all my prarabdha, therefore, are finally transferred back to the body. I give up ownership of any kind of karma phalam. So sanchita, the karma of all the sum total of all the karmas of all the births that I've had so far, right? Then agami, the karma phalam that I've generated in this birth, which will be the bear fruit in maybe in this birth or most probably in some future birth. And prarabdha, the karma that have been utilizing in this birth, right? The sum total, right? So how to give up this karta status? Simply to do with the understanding that I am Atma. So if I am Atma, then I will not feel bad when someone will abuse me. I will not feel, I will not worry about how things are going to happen, right? I will not worry whether I'll not get a certain fruit for some action of mine. That is how we slowly transfer to that mindset, right? So now I see myself as Atma, so that is Nitya Mukta Swarupaha. I'm ever free. I'm never in any kind of karma pasha. No, I'm no kind of debt or no kind of bandhan, or what do you call it, bondage can hold me. So I will free myself of the bondage or of the grasp of samsara. This is the essence of this mantra. So here Atma is presented as the not as the subject of any action or not as the victim, akarta, apokta. So here he has used the example of killing, but we can simply use it for any action that we do. So whatever action we do, I should never think of myself as the karta, or if any situation comes to me, never think of myself in bhokta. Okay, so I will not debate this. So you are saying, why did Bhagwan Mahabharata say, if someone harms you and leaves you no choice, harm them back, right? So first thing is, someone quotes from the Mahabharata that about what do you call it? There is a quote from the Mahabharata, ahimsa paramo dharma. And then someone says there is something written after that, dharma hinsa tathevacha. But you search in the Mahabharata, you will not find it. I am not criticizing, people saying things to justify things. So the thought process is there. The thought process is there in the Mahabharata. You will find plenty of verses will say that whatever. Because why? Because when you are functioning through what we call the Vyavaharik plane, the transactional plane. So there you have to behave according to the transaction. But mentally you don't have to take up. So like I am Atma. Hmm. But for now I am married to this person. So now the function or the duty of the mind and body is to provide for this person or to be a support for this person or to give love to this person, whatever be the different time. So that we cannot get out of. As long as my prarabdha is going till the end of this body, I this duty I have to do. But I have to do it with the bhava, with the feeling that I am not the karta. Right? So that further karmas will not tie me up. But I cannot shy away from my responsibility. Otherwise, what will happen? No. Otherwise, what will happen is when if I shy away from my responsibilities, then tough times will come. Right? I will not be earning enough money. I will not be providing resources for my family, or I will not be able to feed my family, whatever. So when then happen, when that will happen, you will complain. Bhagavan has said in Gita that yoga shema vahamyam. I will take care of your yoga and shema. Right? But you have to do some action. Otherwise, how will he do it for you? No? So you have to do. But when you are doing bhakti, puja, archana, then of course bhakti puja will help you because that is also a manas karma. That is generating punyam for you. It will bring you good situations. Right? So let's move on. Oh, it's already time. Just didn't notice. Okay. I think so. We'll wind up for today because this mantra we have completed also. So, Hanto Chain 1 is 19th we have completed. So, we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om Om Tat Sat